Hello to everyone in TV land. This is Focus on Liberia online television, and you're listening to the Focus on Liberia Daily News with Gwendolyn Dorado. I bring you the headlines. Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia urges President Joseph Boakai to take decisive action in response to recent allegations of off-budget spending and questionable vehicles purchases within his administration. An executive of the opposition Congress for Democratic Change, Akaris Gray, raises an alarm over the alleged increment in the public wage bill in the midst of a recent payroll cleanup exercise carried out by the Civil Service Agency. Liberia Institute for Public Administration, the Governance Commission, and the Civil Service Agency jointly signed a memorandum of understanding to promote public sector and civil service reform across Liberia. Away from home, 3 of Tanzania's leading newspapers have been banned from publishing their online editions after the rain and animation deemed critical of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. Those were the headlines. Now the news in details. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia has urged President Joseph Boakai to take decisive action in response to recent allegations of off-budget spending and questionable vehicles purchases within his administration. Speaking at a press conference held at Central's Monrovia office on Tuesday, October 3rd, Attorney Gerald D. Yekula, Program Manager of Central, outlined several issues undermining transparency and accountability in the Liberian government. He expressed grave concern over allegations involving the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the Liberia Revenue Authority. Reports recently surfaced regarding a U.S. $150,000 vehicle purchase for Commerce Minister Ami Modal, which Central believes violates the 2024 budget law. The approved budget limits vehicle purchases to U.S. $45,000 for all public officials except for the President, the Vice President, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and Chief Justice, while the LRA clarified that only U.S. $96,000 was approved for capacity building within the ministry. Central questions why the entire amount was used to buy a luxury vehicle for the minister rather than being allocated for more meaningful trade-related activities. Central called on President Boakai to commission an independent investigation into the misuse of funds by Minister Modal, urging administrative action in line with the President's stated commitment to fighting corruption under his arrest agenda for inclusive development. In addition to the vehicle purchase controversy, Central raised concerns over US $50 million of budget spending by the Ministry of Finance and Development planning between January and August this year. An executive of the opposition Congress for Democratic Change, Akaris Gray, has raised an alarm over the alleged increment in the public wage bill in the midst of a recent payroll cleanup exercise carried out by the Civil Service Agency. The former representative of Masurado County, District Number 8, observed that the cleaning of the government's payroll by the CSA does not commensurate with the increment in the allocated wage bill in the national budget. He raised the alarm in the statement released on his Facebook page in Monrovia on Tuesday, October 2nd. He observed that a detailed explanation from the CSA would be necessary to clarify the factors contributing to this increase. Gray added that possible explanations could include adjustments for inflation, wage increases, hiring of new personnel, or regularization of contract workers. He maintained that out transparency on these factors, concerns about fiscal mismanagement in pandemic corruption many persist, especially when the administration has argued that a payroll cleanup could have saved the government millions of United States dollars. He further observed that the CSA is yet to report on the millions generated from the payroll cleanup exercise and where those funds were deposited. Gray claimed that besides the CSA payroll cleanup exercise, over 700 executive protection services officers and supplementary workers at the executive mansion were also dismissed. The Liberia Institute for Public Administration, the Governance Commission, and the Civil Service Agency jointly signed a memorandum of understanding to promote public sector and civil service reform across Liberia. The MOU aimed to clarify the three institutions' roles, responsibilities, and collaborative efforts in implementing sustainable reforms, capacity building, and effective transition of civil servants within the Liberian public sector at national and decentralized levels. During the signing ceremony at the Ministry of Information on Tuesday, October 1st, Professor Alari Tokpa, acting chairman of the Governance Commission, said the MOU outlines the collaborative efforts between the three agencies and will also implement sustainable reforms, capacity building, and effective transition of civil servants. He says it also seeks to clarify responsibilities, establish a framework for collaborative initiatives in key areas of human resource management, and enhance public sector effectiveness. According to him, the three agencies have agreed to collaborate and implement sustainable reforms and the effective transition of civil servants within the public sector. The Director General of LIPA, Ni Alati Vapla, says the MOU shows a rebirth of the public sector, and they are hopeful through this process to support more learning opportunities in the country. He indicated that they are committed to working with other institutions to support holistic human development and capacity building in the public sector. The CSA Director General Josiah Jokai noted that the public sector is sick and it is their responsibility by laws and policies to work on it. Tough-talking Liberian clergy Bishop Kotu Brown has warned that the mysterious deaths of innocent people could lead to hardship in the country, demanding that such acts be stopped. Bishop Brown gave the warning on Wednesday, October 2nd, during a morning prayer meeting at his New Water in the Desert Assembly Apostolic Pentecostal Church in Brewerville. The former president of the Liberia Council of Churches called on the Liberian National Police and the Ministry of Justice to buckle up in finding the killers of many of the unfortunate and gruesome murders committed in the society. He stated that these unfortunate and cowardly actions could bring hardship to the nation and its people. He called on Liberians to stop killing one another and exercise the rule of law in addressing misunderstandings or disagreements bordered on the rule of law. The River G University Students Union leadership has been accused of marginalizing members at the Tubman University, the group's largest chapter, since receiving US $25,000 during the last county sitting in 2022. The union's leadership has yet to allocate any funds to the Tubman University chapter. The leadership is currently collaborating with 10 universities across Liberia, but the Tubman University hosts the most significant chapter of the River G University Student Association. However, the current leadership has been accused of allegedly ignoring the Tubman University chapter. In April of this year, the aggrieved parties sent a communication to the Rivers County Legislative Caucus chairperson, Senator Jonathan Boy Charles Sobe, but has not received a response. As the leadership of Rugusu works to secure funds from the Kavala Rubber Company, which operates in Rivers County, there are potential benefits for the students of the region. However, it appears that the primary goal of the current students' leadership, led by President Benson Kama, is to collect these funds for personal use. In the meantime, the students at Tubman University from Rivers County are urging the county authorities, including the lawmakers of Rivers, to investigate the matter. They want the country leaders to address the alleged negligence of the Rugusu leadership. They noted that they deserve fair treatment, and it is crucial for the authorities to ensure that the students' interests are protected and prioritized. The Foreign Minister of the Republic of Liberia, Sarah Beslow Yanti, arrived in Brussels, Belgium, for a one-day working session. According to a dispatch from Brussels, Minister Beslow met with several high-level EU officials and scores of EU ambassadors from the Political and Security Committee, amongst other officials, to discuss enhancing Liberia relations through the arrest agenda. During the discussions, Commissioner Juta Opilani announced a package for Liberia in the amount of euros 108 million in the areas of direct budget support, gender-based violence, public-private partnership, among others. She thanked the government of Liberia for the support in mutual areas and the role the country is playing in the region regarding peace and security. Minister Yanti expressed gratitude to the European Union on behalf of President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr. and the Liberian people for their ongoing partnership, and extended congratulations to Madam Ursula von der Leyen on her re-election as President of the European Commission by the European Parliament. Minister Beslow emphasized that this is as a result of a series of discussions between the Ministry of Finance, the Foreign Ministry, and other institutions of government and representatives of the European Union. And away from Liberia, 3 of Tanzania's leading newspapers have been banned from publishing their online editions after the rain and animation deemed critical of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. The Citizen, Wananchi, and Wanaspoti newspapers have had their online licenses suspended for 30 days over the viral animated clip, which has since been removed. The clip, just over a minute long, published by the Citizen on social media, highlighted the increasing cases of abductions and disappearances in the country. The media regulator said content threatens is likely to affect and harm national unity and social peace of the United Republic of Tanzania. Rights groups have accused President Samia's government of stifling dissent and targeting opponents ahead of next year's general elections. It follows a recent wave of abductions, arrests, and the brutal killings of an opposition official in the country. Wednesday's ban affects all websites, social media, and YouTube platforms of the 3 newspapers, all run by Wananchi Communication Limited. The viral animation by the Citizen, which authorities said violated the country's online communication laws, was published on Tuesday. It depicted a female cartoon character who resembled Samia with her signature hijab. It showed the character switching between different TV stations. On each one, there was someone complaining about the killing, abduction, or disappearance of a family member. At the end, the character appears upset by all complaints. That does it for the Focus on Liberia Daily News. I do a recap of the headlines. Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia urges President Joseph Boakai to take decisive action in response to recent allegations of off-budget spending and questionable vehicle purchases within his administration. An executive of the opposition Congress for Democratic Change, Akaris Gray, raises an alarm over the alleged increment in the public wage bill in the midst of a recent payroll cleanup exercise carried out by the Civil Service Agency. Liberia Institute for Public Administration, the Governance Commission, and the Civil Service Agency jointly signed Memorandum of Understanding to promote public sector and civil service reform across Liberia. And away from home, 3 of Tanzania's leading newspapers have been banned from publishing their online editions after the rain and animation deemed critical of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. On behalf of the management of Focus on Liberia, many thanks to our listeners and viewers. We urge that you keep following us and share our videos. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado. I present it. I said.